Members of the Senate about the NFL getting headlines about their halftime performance choice of Bad Bunny. He's anti-Trump. He said he's not going to tour in the U.S. right now because he's afraid his fans will get apprehended by ICE. What's your response to that, what you've seen?
Well, NFL can do what they want. I mean, they need to start reading the tea leaves about this country, about what the president stands for and what most people stand for in this country. Went to the Super Bowl with the president last year. It wasn't a real bad halftime show, but it wasn't near what we've had in the past. This obviously is not going to be very good. I don't know who's picking them. Again, I don't know who to blame.
Jay-Z's production company apparently is behind it.
Yeah, well, I guess they know who they're reaching out to, but I won't be watching it. I'll be watching the game, but not the halftime show. I've never heard of Bad Bunny, but it's just kind of like stuff going on Netflix right now. Everything is about gender and DEI and wokeism, all that mess.
What did you think of Lewandowski saying the Trump administration would authorize and DHS ICE to go to the Super Bowl? What did you think of that? Yeah. Good idea?
Hey, more power to them. We've got over 50 million people here who's not supposed to be here, so anywhere they need to go to get them out, I'm for it.
You still plan to go to the Super Bowl, possibly with the president, even with this choice?
Yeah, where's that? Orange Bowl this year in Miami? I would go, depending on who's in it. Yeah.
The NFL has been getting a lot of blowback for its selection for the halftime. The Bad Bunny artist, he's anti-Trump. He is not touring right now in the U.S. because of ICE. He's afraid they'll apprehend his fans. What's your reaction when you saw that choice?
I don't know Bad Bunny. I got a lot of other options that would be preferable. I'm not the commissioner of the NFL though, but I don't know. I'm not sure it suits their target audience. But you know, that's their decision. But there's a lot of other artists out there I think people would prefer to see. But I don't wade too much into that stuff. But like I said, not into Bad Bunny.
Let me ask you about the anti-ICE activity we've seen in the U.S., the reactions to the shooting, for example. Some Democrats I've asked, they're not even familiar with the incident or what happened. Just what's your take on where things stand with the anti-ICE activity and just how to combat this and kind of bring the temperature down?
Well, it doesn't surprise me that many Democrats haven't seen it because the legacy media doesn't cover this stuff. And I can understand why, because it tells a very dangerous story about what's happening with the radical left. They're taking over cities. Crime is rampant. President Trump has decided, thankfully, that there's a new sheriff in town, and law and order is what we need in this country. Everybody deserves to feel safe, no matter what community you're in. And I think the violence we're seeing, particularly on ICE agents, it's unacceptable. And that's why you're seeing, I think, some of the actions from President Trump. And the American people support him. American people don't want this in their neighborhoods. They don't want him in their cities. But Antifa, a lot of these almost paramilitary organizations who are committing violence in our cities. It's just wrong, and I think President Trump's doing the right thing.
Shutdown obviously is eating up all the headlines, but the NFL's been getting a lot of blowback for putting an anti-Trump performer as the halftime show.
I haven't followed it. I can't comment on it. I haven't followed it at all. I don't watch their halftime shows anyway.
Yeah, he's anti-Trump. He doesn't perform right now in the U.S. because he's worried some of his fans would get
I don't
deported.
care. I frankly don't care that much about the performer's political beliefs as long as they don't spout them from their stage. Nobody's going to hear this. Is it a man or a woman?
Yeah, Bad Bunny's a rapper.
Okay,
Latin
nobody's going
artist.
to hear Bad Bunny or to hear his political positions. They'll go to hear his music. So if he sticks to his music, I don't care one way or the other. But if Bad Bunny or whatever his name is going to go on stage and talk politics, then I think the NFL can do it. But if they do, I think they're going to lose a lot of viewers. I mean, you know, what did Mama Gump say? Stupid is as stupid does. If they want to alienate half of their audience, the NFL does, then, you know, have at it, Cinderella.
So, Senator, just want to get your reaction to what we're hearing from the Pope. He's been critical of the Trump administration on immigration policy. We know the Catholic Church has not really been in line necessarily with the public policy on the Republican side with immigration, but what's your response to his fresh comments that he's made?
So I would consider myself a person of faith and nothing but great respect for the Pope and the Catholic religion in general. I think the Pope's probably coming from a little different point of view right now. I think I wake up in the morning. Certainly, my faith is the most important part of my life, and I wake up every morning hoping that I would do justice. And part of that is I think making my family safe and secure. So I'm all for trying to reach out and be compassionate when it comes to immigration, but it's got to be done legally, as long as we had our borders secure. I wish we didn't have to have an army. I wish we lived in a world where there was just nothing but peace, but that's not where we are. You know, President Eisenhower defined it first, that we are a peace through strength type of country. I think we need a strong military. And, you know, I think it's great for us to keep into perspective what the Pope is talking about. He's certainly a very strong voice, and we need to listen to that as one of many leaders.
As Trump steps up ICE enforcement in the interior of the country, do you think the Republicans' message could be getting lost with independent voters, for example, when it comes to having tough border security, but at the same time they're seeing, you know, what's happening with ICE and some people getting swept up in these raids that haven't committed crimes? What's your take on that?
I think it's one of, on a top 10 list, it's probably towards the bottom. I think most importantly, independence, like all American, is the economy. I think by next November, our big beautiful bill is kicking in, and Americans are paying less in taxes. The economy's growing. There's less regulations as well. I think that's what they're most concerned about. And sort of there are sometimes people are taking their safety for granted already. But then again, here I am in some of these cities. I can't help but think that independents wish that they were safer as well.
And you probably saw the NFL. They have Bad Bunny, who's a famous artist, Latin artist. He's been critical of Trump and of ICE. They're making him the halftime performer at the NFL. And actually now Trump is saying he's going to send ICE into the Super Bowl because this guy said he's not going to tour in the U.S. right now because he doesn't want people in his concerts to get apprehended by ICE. What do you think of the NFL selection on this guy?
I'm all for freedom of speech. I don't know much about him at all. I think he's going to get booed though.